trying this because I'm bored. I haven't talked to anyone all day. And hopefully no one come on. Just in case. That's what I'm doing. Listening to all my broken crap. Not broken crap. Stuff I haven't tried, been on my shelf for a long time. This, for example, is a TRC 449 realistic. I don't know when I picked this up. I paid $8 for it. Please excuse the Corona here. $7.99, and I see it sold for parts only $145 American. So that's pretty good. That's like $180 Canadian. So I'm listening for parts. I hope these things on the bottom here, which is kind of weird to me, are part of it. I can't test it because I don't have any power, which I think is important. But I'll just list it for parts and give it a bit of clean. Take out the sticker. When I list things, I don't like cleaning it too much because I don't know, can't be bothered. So I do that. And what's better to clean? Good old Windex. I know this is exciting, but I don't care. Why not? All the excitement being a reseller when you're in lockdown and you get told for another day that you're not going out for a long time. Just when I thought we were going to get out, turns out we're not. So back to the old, back to the old inventory and cleaning. Fortunately, it looks like all the clothy bits coming off on this, making it worse. But that's okay. I don't think people are buying this for it to be pretty, and that's okay. People will, I hope it works. That would suck. And honestly, if someone gets it, even if parts and see it doesn't work, I'll probably just cut the return anyways. That's the way I roll. The nice thing about being part-time too is you don't have to worry too much about making money all the time. It's just for fun. Look at that. There's all crap on the... Oh, you couldn't see any of that. See? That's just if you have to practice. See, what are these things? I have no idea. This feels like nerdism before I was a nerd. Before my time. CB radio stuff. So that's good enough. And over here, in the secret compartment over here, is where I take my pictures. I don't know. I don't think that's natural. Those things on the bottom there. And now I'm just going to take some pictures. Let's see. Camera. And a little Android-y thing. And we'll see how that goes. I really like these little thing that came with my little light to do videos with, because I can just push the button and take the pictures, and it goes real quick. So hopefully it'll look quick. Of course, it won't work. If anyone's found a better way to take pictures, I would love to know it, because this is slow. So I had to do it for each corner. And I like taking lots of photos because I think it's easy enough to do once you already have the object here. And it helps to have more photos than other people. Why not? You get 12 of them for free. It's not like it's your storage. This is exciting stuff, I'm sure. Okay. Take my pictures. I'm going to be inefficient. So what I do is I back it up to Google Photos. It just takes 20 seconds. And I go over here and download them. Let's see, photos. Already done. Almost. So like this. And I'm going to list, this is a realistic CB radio. I always just pick similar because I'm too lazy to write stuff out. Or it's not working. And it appears good. Marks. Use. Add photos. Which I haven't put onto my computer yet. Sometimes this old CB radio stuff can be good. I always take a look. The problem is I can never test it. But even if I can't test it, like I said, this one I bought for $8. It sells for $150 used. I mean, for parts. So that's pretty good. For review, I'll just take pictures and upload them. The only thing I wanted to check with this one is those funny little switches on the bottom that someone might have added themselves. Yep, there's done in the bomb. So what I'm going to say for that is there are some flip switches on the bottom that I don't know what they do. Bottom. Ew. Try not to write too much. I don't think anyone really reads. And then I use advanced editing, which you can't see, and just say compiling. And I'm going to ask 149, like it's on .com. And this is going to be a heavy guy. So let's weigh him. I'm pretty sure. I use shipping policies, so it's heavy. Basically, goes in my head. Yeah, it's heavy, so it's over 2.5 kilograms. So I don't use calculated shipping. I just have a category for it. This is really heavy, and I charge $25 to United States and $20 to Canadian for heavy stuff. I don't do the calculated shipping. I find it takes too long, and it doesn't really make that much of a difference in the end. It appears good. I can't test. So it's on for parts. Hey, Veronica. Oh my God, that's funny. This is the first time I've done the live, and of course. That reminds me, I owe Raph some money. I sold one of his things. Yeah, Aqua. How's it going? Veronica, can you tell me what I'm doing wrong? I have to try and make it more exciting. The lighting down here is crap. I sold Raph's calm thing, so I'll have to write up a little thing for that. So this is my first live, and I did it just because I can. Oh wait, I have to be careful because untested. It's a little distracting, I think, doing this live. Well, I'm at the point where I don't care anymore. Especially if I go on with all the frizzies from not being able to see a barber for 2 months. And I've been in my basement all day. And it's listed. So hopefully I'll get 150 for that. Why don't you go on Aqua Girl? It's like there's nothing. We've got nothing else to do. If you're going to do anything during the pandemic, it's go and make a fool of yourself online. And no one else is live tonight, so yeah, this is how we do it. I did sell that, Raph. I got good money for that. I don't think I asked enough. I asked 300 American for it, and I thought I was asking way too much, and it sold I think in a day or two. It's like, oh no, I should have asked for more. It's kind of scary when things actually sell that quickly, because then you're gonna, oh, what could have gone? And I couldn't test that either, and they took it. So, you know, that was a nice flip. That was probably my flip of the year, to be honest. Let's see. Yeah, you're lucky. We just got told today in Ontario that we're gonna have to wait another 2 weeks. Yeah, I have another one actually. Another another Porta, what is it called? But it's a cheaper version, and it's missing something. So I put it to the side for now. But it must have worked. Yeah, some of it's Dungeons and Dragons. Like I have these little lead figures. And these actually are worth nothing, which really disappointed me. But I did pick up Dungeons and Dragons a lot. I can show that quickly. So I picked up all these, and he wanted $50 for them, and I gave him full price because it was worth it. So I find these ones are okay. These are the cheaper ones, and I think these sell for about 40 to 50 American. Same with this. And this weird one sells for 50. Any of these older ones, but really anything older than this can go for hundreds of dollars. It's crazy. And then ones like this, I find usually don't go for that much, but this one actually is okay. I think this sells for 40 or so, and this is for 30. And this one came too, and that doesn't sell for anything really. But Dungeons and Dragons is kind of my weakness. It's just, for me, it's fun. And the nice thing is they're easy to list. It doesn't take very long to list. And for some reason, even though I'm Canadian, I can use your media mail. So it costs me $5 to send. So that's awesome. Yeah, for the Dungeons and Dragons, I find, well, it helps that I used to play it, so I know the old ones. But anything that's like the old modules, here, I'll show you those two. So if you ever see modules out in the wild, they're definitely worth looking up because they can be worth, I don't know, $20, but they can also be up to worth, 80 up to 100, depending if they're rare or not. And so I picked all these up on the lot. Like this is ones I have left over from a lot I picked up about a year ago, and I don't know how much I made off of that, like a few $100. Like this one here is just a common one. I don't think it's worth much. And even with the holes, I was still getting good money. I just disclose all that, and but the old I don't have any of them because I sold them all. But the old Dungeons and Dragons books that are slightly older than the ones I have, like I said, can go for 80, 100. I even sold the original set that came in a white box for 400, or no, actually $500 a few years ago, and I picked that up at Value Village in the glass case for $25, and that was when I first started. And I was like, "Oh, this is this rocks!" You just go pick up something for $25, and it sells for that much money. But you know, you have to have a little fun when you're picking stuff up too, because you know, a lot of the crap I'm picking up is going to be things like camcorders are really good money, depending. You ever see the Sonys with the night shots? They're really good. Yep, I do Warcraft Artifact. I just sold some, shipped some off today. Or actually, I was thinking of Warhammer. So, you know, the little metal ones. I find, like, you know, on the baggie wall at Value Village or Goodwill, you can often find bags. And it took me a little while to ID these, but some other ones I just sold this week, I think. Let's see how much I sold before. You can talk American because now I'm selling on America. On eBay.com. Let's see, I got $40 plus shipping, which isn't a ton, but I only paid like a few bucks for the whole thing. And I like having them up here because it's just like, I like seeing them displayed. And what's shocking to me is you can still find these things here. And this is Britain's. I don't know if that's going to show. I don't think it's going to show. And this one soldier can sell for $30 to $40. I was shocked. I thought it would be all the metal ones I would sell for really good money, but I think this one has a little more details to the bottom there, and guys like me like buying them. So it's like a Britain. It's Britain's. So this is a little archer dude, and I have a whole bunch of them. And I got all those cheap too in the baggy wall. And you know, I must admit I like this stuff too. And this is why I sold off of Harry, because like Harry was like he displays all his stuff before he sells it, and I thought, hey, that's a great idea. So I'm doing that too. As long as it's not an excuse to never to list it. Like, not everything is here is listed, just some of it's listed. But I'll get to it eventually. Yeah, well, I have to be if I'm not organized, it gets bad because it gets like a hoarder's house down here. This is one thing I need to list. I'm a little afraid to. This is solid copper, and it probably has to be retinned. So I don't know if it has value. Well, I don't know how much it has value if it needs retinned. If it was tinned and brand new, it'd be like $600, $800. And this is like 1949 or something like that. French. French something. I saw the name somewhere. Oh. Demilleria Paris. So this is the really quality stuff. Yeah, I don't see any copper coming through. You know, honestly, it's still like crap in here. I haven't dealt with it yet. And there's the marks. And this was from like a Value Village that I thought would never have something of this age and this quality, but it just shows you never know. I just go to all of them if I can. Yeah. And this is like for my guilt pile. I don't know what to do with them. Like, I know shoes are great, and I know, like, when you're looking at the feet, you should look for the wear at the back. This one was okay, but I hate clothing. It's not my thing. I'd rather have geeky stuff. Guilt pile, yeah, profit pile. And if you ever see these guys here, they're all different colors. Monster My Pocket. This one here isn't that much, but some of them go for hundreds of dollars, and you would have no idea just looking at them. So I got that from Comic Con. That's not old or anything. It's just, I'm trying to make it a little more interesting down here. And then this artwork here, my mom did. So I have some of that on the side here. It's big, so I'm not sure where to put it. And then I have stuff like this too. But you know, it's not worth very much, but that's okay. And I'm sure you know about this stuff here, like the Lego guys. Yeah, my sister got all the art skill. I tried it. Didn't go very far. But like all the Star Wars minifigures, I'm not sure how much these are worth. I haven't looked them up. But I know, like, this guy here who glows can be worth a little bit. See? The problem with these is, until recently, I couldn't ship really cheap, small things for cheap. But now that I can, I'm trying to decide what kind of value I want from stuff. Yeah, I did a whole arts course, and I did a little bit of drawing and stuff like that, but I'm not a patient person, so if I'm not perfect and great right away, I kind of give up. I just prefer this stuff because it's always like new things to learn and stuff like that. So I get most of my sales now from the United States, because before I used to do mostly Canada, but I switched over to eBay.com because I find, well, for one thing, the United States market is about 9 times the size as ours. And if an American was buying off of me on .ca, they'd have to pay in Canadian dollars. It would show them United States dollars, but when they looked at my listing, it would show them Canadian dollars, and then they'd have to pay an exchange fee. And I think that was putting off some Americans. So what I've been doing is just listing on .com and keeping my stuff on .ca and just seeing what that's like, but I'm not quite sure yet. Some people say that with the American dollar you get more, which is true because of the exchange rate, but I think most people are smart enough to know, to take the exchange rate into account, but hey, maybe not. But it's also cheaper for me to ship to United States than it is for me to ship in Canada. Like if I was going to ship this toy, for example, and now I have cheaper shipping, and this is in Canadian, so this will cost me about $4 to ship to anywhere in the United States, and this will cost me $10 to ship anywhere in Canada. So, it's kind of funny that this costs me more to ship across the state, across my street, than it does for me to ship to California. That's just the way it is. And when you ship stuff, in the United States, if you're shipping in a poly mailer, they take that into account. And here they don't. Like I could ship this, or I could ship this pair of shoes in Canada, and it's going to be the same cost. The reason it's so expensive to ship here is because our population is really spread out. So that, like, where I live is one of the most, between Montreal and Toronto is one of the most dense parts in Canada for population, and we're just the average of what it is in the United States. So, but the good thing is that my shipping has gone down a lot because I have another service. So, that's kind of the part of the reason, like, I'm always looking for things that have higher value, because when your ratio of like how much the item costs and the shipping is about the same, you're not making a lot of money because you're paying fees on the shipping and the item, and you have to buy the item, and you can't save money on the shipping that way. So you're making very little net. So what I really try to do is not sell for anything for less than $20, and I'm trying to get that number, that value as high as I can. So the ratio of the item to the shipping is not about equal, but a lot less. But I'm netting about $2,000 a month right now, which is about $1,500 about US a month. And I'm not doing a lot because I can't really source. So, I can't really complain. I really like. I know some people really like selling lots of little cheap things. I'm a cherry picker, and what I really want more is like that CB radio, or like the DJ equipment I was showing that sold for $300, or that pan that I think I should get $200 or $300 for, that I bought for $20. I think it's just like the amount of work isn't that different, and I think when you're selling the cheaper stuff, it's actually distracting you because you're thinking, oh, I'm getting lots of stuff, but you're not actually making that much net. And because I'm not picking up that cheap stuff, I'm always trying to learn some of the stuff that I can actually find that's worth more, if that makes sense. So, yeah, my turnover rate is about 10% of my inventory, and I've been playing around with that a little bit. Like I don't really care too much if it's sitting around, because for most stuff, unless it's really big, I put everything in these bins, and see there's a number there, A22. So the A tells me that it's A shelf, and 22 tells me it's on the second shelf from the top, and then the second item there. So when I sell stuff, I put that into the custom field, and then I can just write, like, for example, here's a cross stitch. So like in the listing, I'll just say A22, and then I can just write down all the bins that it's in, and I can actually find the items really quick. I don't necessarily overload these too much, so I don't care if it's been sitting in the bin for a year, because it doesn't really affect me. So, and I don't, I'm doing it part-time, so it's not like I'm dependent on flipping the stuff. But my inventory levels are getting, a little high, so I've been playing around with that a little bit. Right. So I am in a government town, and I think it's not quite as rich as Toronto, but there is definitely money here. And we're not like a super old city, but there's definitely stuff here to find. I think the oldest thing I found was 150 years old, but I do find like valuable teacups and stuff like that. So, and because it's a government town, people are very secure, and they're willing to spend money or have. And so there's definitely stuff out there. I find that a lot of people kind of like, I'm always making friends at the thrift stores, and I find a lot of them get really stuck in a certain time period, and they never pass it. And then they complain that things aren't selling, or eBay's ruined everything, but they're not moving with the market. Like, the toys, like here's like the one I'm always making fun of is Skylanders. And like Skylanders are not that old, but like this little set here, the white guy and his tower and his trap, I think 60 or 80 for this. And this looks exactly the same to a lot of people as, this one here. They all have the red bottoms. But of course, this is the ones you want. And this is the one I bought in lots that I don't care about. So if you can learn something like this, a lot of the other thrifters, especially the guys who look like of my age and have been doing this a while, they're not going to look for this stuff because for some reason they're stuck in a time. So I find that I'm always trying to think of like stuff like that you can actually, like for bolos, that you can actually find, has value, is hidden amongst stuff that doesn't have value, and there's demand for online. So I spend a lot of my time trying to think of stuff like that. And of course, like the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, a lot of people might know of, but they don't know which is the valuable toys. I think, for newer toys, I think it's better because it's like everyone's buying their childhood again because they want their nostalgia back, and you kind of have to think what is the nostalgia for the next generation, because for me, I don't know anything. I know the basics about Pokemon, but I don't really know it. But I also know that there are some valuable Pokemon, and I'm not talking about the cards. I'm talking about the figures out there. And, a lot of the guys like me are not looking for that stuff at all. So I think you should be almost looking for the newer stuff that has value, not in a speculative way. Just learn, like I said, when you have the Skylanders, 99% of it's not valuable, but that 1% really makes up for it. And when you're buying like off things like Facebook and someone puts a big lot together, they're not going to spend the time to learn which is the valuable pieces of that. So when I go through Facebook looking at Skylanders, and I've done the research. So here's my little valuable cheat sheet. So I've made a list of all the ones that are out there that I care about. So I can use this cheat sheet to kind of go, okay, here's a Facebook group, Facebook Marketplace Skylanders, and then, okay, that one's actually worth my time, or this group is totally not worth my time. And of course, you learn this over a while, but I find like sometimes you have to physically, for me at least, I have to see it to learn it. So like here's Disney Infinity. And so some of these guys have value where most of them do not have any value. So I like doing that stuff too because I like the research. And I'm cheap, but I've actually splurged on buying a color printer because sometimes you'll have like this is all in black and white, right? But sometimes you'll have variations of these where the color is really important, and I think it'll pay for itself. And I love the research. It's what keeps me interested. Hey, Jennifer. I'm trying to shift having sold this stuff at live shows to online. So did you have are you talking about a booth or something like that? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I know some of the people really like booths. Like Scotty really loves his booth, but I am not very good at the commitment. So I don't want to go to the booth, make sure the stuff in there, refresh it, get rid of stuff that's not working. I like sitting at home, listing and putting things in a box. Is it? What about light? I took my light out a long time ago because I'm a nerd, and I had my VR set up all here, VR glasses. And so I'd be taking the controllers to the VR glasses, and I kept smashing my light because, of course, you can't see it. So I got rid of the light, and now I'm scared of electrocuting myself while putting the light bulb back in. So it's dark down here. Hey, Scotty. Yeah, I thought I would just play while I'm listening. Why not? Yeah, antique shows. Like that's interesting. I just don't. I'm not a patient person, so standing around all day would drive me nuts. I I'd rather do anything but that. You know, I think everyone should have to work retail once, and I've learned that retail and standing around is not my thing. But more power to the people who want to do it. That's okay. I have all my guilt piles of like stuff I need to go through, and since we can't source, like this is one box of all this crap I have to go through. Or like, you know, sometimes things are valuable, and then you're like, it takes a long time to count. So, where's this one here? I also love these things here. These old role-playing games. Oh, there's two. Okay. Oh, it's not. Wow, it's not done either. So you get all these little pieces in here. Very nerdy, and I love it. And this one here, now this one's missing pieces, I know for sure. But if it was complete, it would sell for over $100. And the funny thing is about this one is I bought this off a guy who bought off of me on eBay locally, and he was a reseller. And I went to his house, and so I ended up buying stuff off of him. And you know, this sort of stuff too. I'm not sure how much this one's worth, but I bought some other stuff off the guy. But it takes such a long time to count the little pieces that even though your net's great, the amount of work you have to do is quite a bit, especially when you compare it to a book. Oh, wow. Were you buying at shows too, or just selling? Have you ever done a show, Scotty, like an antique show? I love playing with them. No, I don't. I don't know. I can't go back. It's like I was, you know, reading the Dungeons and Dragons stuff that I loved as a kid, and you know, it's cool. You can't go back. Not for me. But I like collecting all the figures. That to me is fun because it's kind of like it's not just finding stuff; it's things for my collection as well. So that's kind of cool. Okay, you haven't talked about that, Scotty, about doing the shows. Do you still? Well, do you stop doing them? Like not just because of uh, you know, the lockdown. Oh, okay. So yeah, you buy before the show opens. Yeah, I was wondering if you're bought off people coming to the shows as well. What do I regret buying the most? Fishing lures. Fishing wire. I trust people, and I should not have trusted that guy. There's like an empty one, like, and they were expensive. And I made the mistake of like saying, "Well, how much do you want for everything?" And then just more. I was more interested in making the deal than I was in making sure it was a good deal. But that's okay. That happens. And I still make lots of mistakes. Like I have, like, you know, I'm always worried about like the big heavy stuff that I'm not going to fix. Like here, I picked this up just before the lockdown, And that's how much I paid, $40. And this can sell between $400 to $800. But it's heavy. I'm not sure if it works right. And it might be worth a lot of money, but it's going to sit in my basement for a while. And I'm not mechanically inclined. So, and I've learned I'm never going to fix anything. And it's much better just to sell stuff for parts than to hold on to it forever. Yeah, it's cool from buying from other vendors. Like I never do, well, I shouldn't say never, but I rarely do consignment. But I actually did have another thrifter person I know contact me a few weeks ago, and he wanted to do some consignment stuff through me. So I did do some consignment stuff through them. I find that's hard though, because it's like I'm pretty greedy when it comes to nets, and I'd rather just buy the stuff off them outright. Like that game I showed was from another seller, and I just bought it off him directly. Ralph can fix it, yeah. Well, that's very nice of him to offer to fix all my stuff for me. I got a few more typewriters in the back too. The stress from the shows. Why was the stress bad? Like I just wouldn't. Like I had no one. I shouldn't say I'd had no interest in doing a show. I just don't think it would be for me. I like the hunt. Like and everyone likes the hunt, and I'm not really worried about selling a ton of stuff. Like I like selling it, but I don't need to sell it. If that makes sense. And Scotty, like the one thing that's really tempting is when you mention the booth, you can sell off all the small stuff. Because I got like bags and bags and bags and boxes full of stuff I'm going to be just donating to the thrift store because it's just not worth it for me, Or like, I showed you before, I had boxes and boxes of pretty ratty comic books. And I just can't sell them online to make it worth it. Oh, your shows are outside. Yeah, that wouldn't be fun when all your stuff is getting wet. I really want to learn, like you mentioned, you do jewelry. I really want to learn cosmetic jewelry. Well, I can. I wonder if you can see it. I'm gonna show you a mistake I made. No, I can't see it, but I have a whole bunch of really, really, really cheap just metal jewelry I picked up, and I couldn't resist. It's like, they have stuffed bags for like $4 or $5, and it's like I'm never gonna touch all that small stuff. None of it's silver. It's all like Avon stuff, I think, and I bought way too much of it, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that. Yeah, I want to learn cosmetic jewelry. I think, especially the cosmetic stuff, there's an opportunity there. Like I know you look for the maker's marks, and ironically, one of the first things I ever sold online was Victorian jewelry, like just some cameo, some gold-filled jewelry, lockets, that sort of thing that I got at auction cheap. And it was when I first started, and so I was trying to figure out the shipping thing, and they said, "Do I combine?" I went, "Yeah." So they got all this stuff probably really cheap, but that's fine. We all learn. Oh God, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. When you say George, I assume you mean George, the antique dealer. Like his stuff is so good. Like I like looking for his stuff too, for the same reason that you're mentioning that, Scotty, is that some of that stuff is so valuable and it looks all the same to me. Like one of the thrifters I know here in Ottawa, and he's probably one of the best thrifters I know, that's mostly glass and pottery. And I know his store, I see his sales, and he's doing really good. And he just stays in one store. So, and like I said, with the teacups, I have sold $150 to $200 teacups, and it doesn't take that much knowledge. And it was still out when I went to look, and I've sold it and shipped it. And teacups, like I was a little scared to ship those, but I've gotten used to it now. Yeah, the thing I like about George is you can tell he enjoys it, and he shares his information, and it's so much. I like the eclectic stuff too. I do want to learn that, because to be honest, when I go to Value Village, which is the Goodwill, I hit my aisles, and maybe I need to, if I'm going to make the trip to go there, I kind of want to learn the other stuff. Like I've sold I've sold some a teapot and stuff like that, but it was mostly just luck that I found a good one. Usually, what I do is a lot of board games, toys, electronics, cross stitch, that sort of thing, easy stuff. And it's also like with toys and all that, it's so much easier to look up. Yeah, costume jewelry, Veronica, is like things that's not like silver or gold and stuff like that, but it still has value. The old stuff is getting harder to find, so if you see it, get it. Yeah, I think so, but I think, in my opinion, all that stuff is out for such a while that maybe there was, some people just have no idea that that stuff has come back a little bit. So we actually have a chance to find it. Yeah, estate sales are horrible here. Like, they want more than retail. So estate sales is something I want to explore a little bit more. Like Noel, I think really hits those well, and maybe hits the stuff that I'm not as familiar with. Going to antique stores. Like we have a nice flea market here in Ottawa, and I went there once just to see what was there, and I should go back just to kind of get an idea of what's out there. Even funny things like the insulin that Harry does. I've learned a lot just watching off of him. And then, like I was talking to Scotty the other day, I saw like this jam jar from Nova Scotia, and that sell for $1,200. It was like a special funnel top or something, but that was kind of neat. I don't know if if you looked at the email I sent you on that, but there's what I always love is just always so much to learn, and I'm fairly friendly at the thrift stores, so I get to meet lots of other resellers, and sometimes it's a bit high schoolish because they all seem to have been fighting with each other at some point in the past. But I seem to get along with everyone, and I always tell them the same thing: is, for the love of God, never tell me something that you don't want me to go buy, like your secrets, because I'm going to collect everything. And I think that, and I emphasize that a few times, and I think that it really helps because for some reason that puts them more at ease, and I'm not sure why, because I've had people say, "Oh, that guy's now getting the stuff I get." And it's like, yeah, but you're telling me everything, and I'm also your competition. They say, "Oh, it's different." I say, okay, but I also share what I find too, because, and I also respect that if they're full time, I don't look in their cart, I don't ask them what they've got, because I don't want them to feel uncomfortable just talking to me. Because for me, the social aspect is almost as important as everything else. Yeah, really. Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't get along, or they say, "Why are you talking to that guy?" or they had a falling out over something. And I always worry about that a bit too, because I've had people save stuff for me, and I say, please don't save anything for me because I will not do the same thing for you. And I said, when the cart comes out and like say we're both after the same toy, I will go after that toy just as much as you will, and I won't give it to you because I'm competitive. But I like to talk about stuff, but at the same time, I am competitive, and people respect that, I find, a bit if you're just upfront with it. Yeah, that's awesome. Scott, that's awesome that that they don't have that issue, but that's it seems to be a common thing here. Like I have met thrifters here who are definitely not friendly, and I kind of just read them a little bit, and just okay, that person doesn't want to talk. But I have one people over who are very grumpy towards me, and then we just wave, and then all of a sudden they'd be waving back and hi, and then all of a sudden I could talk to them, and they were happy to see me, and that would take a little while to get to know them. Yeah, that's not good. Being hit with the cart. Yeah, that's not good. I've heard of people taking stuff out of other people's carts before. I don't even know what I would do if someone did that. Like, yeah, I don't know. I hope that would never happen. I'm just hoping that I never get to a point where like I'm at an auction and we're competing for the same thing. That would be kind of hard. Yeah, so my rule is like when I first get to the thrift store, and I'm a little blunt sometimes, is I want to go and look for everything in the store first before socializing. And I respect that when the cart comes out, our socializing is done. And most people are pretty good at that because it's like, okay, we got to go to the cart, the new stuff comes out. Or when they come to the store, I might say hello, then they go around the store, look for everything, and then we socialize. And some people don't get that you can socialize, stop, and restart. And I also do Irish goodbyes, which means like when I'm done and like I've seen someone and said hello and I'm done for the store, I just leave. I don't go find them and say goodbye because I see them so much. You don't need to do that. And I need to get to the next door, and I think they need to get to the next door. And 80% of all the thrifters understand that. That's right, Scotty. If you and me are fighting over the same insulator, it's game over. Yeah, it's a business, and like for the ones that are full time, like one of my buddies, he'll take his cart and he'll hide it behind the clothing, and then we'll have a talk. And sometimes like for half an hour or even more, we're talking about business. But he hides the stuff from me, or he puts a blanket over his stuff. I said, yes, please do that, because if I'm not careful, I will look at your cart and not even realize it. And we're after the same stuff, and because of that, we've had a really good friendship, and I care about that more. And I'd rather he do that and hide his stuff and keep that friendship. Yeah, yeah. I usually, when I go thrifting, I try to hit all the stores. And right now with COVID, it's kind of weird. Well, especially right now, we can't even go to the stores. But I like to try and hit a lot. And there's time periods for different stores when the carts come out. And I don't want to waste too much time talking because I see these guys all the time and these gals all the time. And we can have a conversation over multiple trips. I don't need to spend a long time there. Yeah, so I don't know. I just thought I'd come on for a little quick live. So I've been on for an hour, and it's past my bedtime. So thank you for everyone for coming on to my first live. And yeah, thanks. Bye. So now I have to figure out how to stop this thing. Yeah, when the cards come out, everyone gets quiet and goes zoop. And then they got in trouble for it. I saw a person take their cart and they blocked the exit for all the people bringing the trolleys out because they didn't want the other people getting at it. That was bad. Okay, bye.